Hey guys, how's it going? It's Blepner here with another team review, and today I wanted to go over this super fun team that I stole from a fellow content creator, Pogo Dylan, who I will link the channel up down below. What I've recently been doing is that I'll go onto a stream by a fellow content creator before I start my stream, and if I like the team that they're using, I will just try it out. This team I really like because both EMPOLEON and GOODRA got access to new moves this season that transformed them into completely different Pokemon. Very meta Pokemon, a very meta core, I would say. The reason why this team works so well, I think, is because we have a water type in the lead, we have a grass type in the back, and our safe swap in GOODRA has access to both water moves and grass moves as coverage. And what this means is that both the EMPOLEON in the lead and the Trevenant in the back interact very well with the GOODRA and makes this team very flexible. So without further ado, let's see how this team does in action. So first up we have EMPOLEON versus Dragonair, and this is a very good lead because with two shields up, the EMPOLEON can just safely shield up, match shields with Dragonair, and should be able to farm them all the way down in the two shields. Here we go for the Hydro Cannon first, because I was worried that they would swap and try to catch the Drill Peck, and there was a 100% chance that they were going to shield there anyway, right? Because the Drill Peck would take them out. They want to win the lead, but I'm actually not sure who wins CMP between these two. If you know who wins CMP between the Dragonair and the EMPOLEON, comment down below. So they don't go into the two shields, recognizing that I could farm them down. They switch immediately into Lantern, and this is exactly how this team is supposed to work. Instead of letting the Lantern farm me down and having a far worse matchup in the back, instead we are switching into the GOODRA, which has coverage for both water and grass. The fact that they didn't switch out of the Dragonair in the lead is indicating to me that they might be weak to water in the back. And that's why the GOODRA is such a good safe swap, is because it has grass for the Lantern, it has water for coverage against things that might also be weak to EMPOLEON. So what I'm reading here is that they're either weak to grass or water in the back. And we have both a grass and a water type. So yeah, we see that they have a Charjabug in the back, and that's not necessarily weak to grass or water, but it still is weak to Trevenant. So we could safely assume that they were weak to either grass or water because of how they played this game. But honestly, the Trevenant is very good as a closer regardless. We did want to save that EMPOLEON. Honestly, no matter what, the EMPOLEON should have gotten some mileage if it wasn't just farm bound down by the Lantern. And so that's why we switch out of the EMPOLEON. That's how this team works. Next up we see Lickitung, and Lickitung is a very solid lead to see with the EMPOLEON because we have access to fast move pressure and Steel Wing, charge move pressure and Hydro Cannon. They can only hit for neutral non-stab damage with these power whips. If I wanted to flip this matchup, I kind of had to shield there, honestly, because they are actually going to barely outpace me in energy as long as they throw their charge moves at the correct timing. So I will actually lose this, but the upshot is that I'm going to farm down with my GOODRA, and I'm expecting that they're going to be weak in the back to grass because, weak in the back to Ghost because they have a Lickitung in the lead, and oftentimes if they have Lickitung in the lead, that's their Ghost answer. So we're going to see. We go immediately for the Power Whip, knowing that we would CP tie them. We just want to deal some good damage to the Lantern here, get them into farm down range, and they let me farm them down, which is very good. They have the Annihilate in the back, and so yeah, they're very weak to Ghost in the back, as we predicted. Annihilate is one of the things that does not want to see Trevenant at all, considering it deals double resisted fast move pressure. We're doing double super effective fast move pressure. Obviously they can bait here, but this game should be over because they are within Seed Bomb range on the Lickitung. I could survive a Power Whip, so I could have doubled up on Seed Bombs here, but there's no need because they have so little energy on Annihilate. I could just take them out with the Seed Bomb there, and that is a good game. So next up we have Empoleon into Dunsparce, and this is an okay lead for Empoleon. Honestly, I played this game out very questionably because I let them get a full move through here, first of all. I was thinking that they might CMP tie me, but there's no reason for them to CMP tie me when they lose CMP, so I should have done an extra Steel Wing. And then I try to catch the Drill Run here. I'm unsuccessful, and they honestly have so much energy at this point. I think that they might be almost at 2 Drill Runs. Yeah, so now they're at their next Drill Run. And it's only going to be 3 more rollouts for the next Drill Run, right? Rollout is such a high energy generating move. They go into Gligar, and this is definitely not the worst thing in the world, but I do mistime my move there. You can see there that they got a full wing attack in, which is not great because I was hoping to get to this next Aqua Tail. Let's see if that affects the... it looks like it did not affect me getting to the move there because I was 3 Dragon Breaths away, I believe. So they would have farmed me down anyway. Not a huge deal. But the upshot here is that they have so much energy that I have to shield twice. And thankfully they go right for the dig. So that would be disastrous if I no shielded. Obviously they could have baited. We actually CMP tie them. We throw the Drill Peck once again just because this is enough to take them out. And we're always looking for those possible swaps, even though in this case I don't think that they can swap. Their swap timer should be just about now. But regardless, if the Drill Peck can take them out, then I have a habit of going for the Drill Peck in case that they swap. So now we have Empoleon and Trevenant Core here, and they have a Jellicent. And this is just game over here, honestly. I should have switched out into my own Trevenant immediately and forced a shield here. If I had done that, then I think that I still had some play. But I just did not react fast enough. And we would be able to take them out with 2 Drill Pecks. So that would have still gotten very close. But clear misplay there. But next up we see Bastiodon. And Bastiodon is one of the things that Empoleon counters the hardest. They switch into Wigglytuff, and I think that we can all guess which team this is. Which very infamous, very common team. But this is rough for the opponent, not going to lie. This is super, super rough. This is not the way that you want to go with this team against my team. This is another reason why this team is so good, is because it just completely stomps on the Basti, Wiggly, Victory Bell teams that are, I think, the most common team that you see in the meta, honestly, nowadays. And that's very satisfying. But they had to come into the Victory Bell here. That was definitely the play. I am just going to stay in versus the Bastiodon because at this point, the Trevenant and the GOODRA should be able to take care of the Victory Bell in the back. So, of course, it is possible that it's ABB Fairy. But if it was ABB Fairy, then I don't think that they could possibly afford to switch into Wigglytuff and just give it up like that. But it could be. So if this is a Charmer in the back, then we might lose this. But it is the Victory Bell. I always get worried that they're going to be running something other than Victory Bell in the back, but they very rarely are. Just because Victory Bell is so oppressive here. But against our team, we don't even have to respect them with a Shadow Ball. We can just go for that Seed Bomb there because Seed Bomb would have put them into range where they would have been taken out here anyway by Dragon Breaths. We can shield up the GOODRA. GOODRA just has to sprinkle one little Dragon Breath there to take out the Bastiodon, and that is a good game. So next up we have Empoleon into Sableye. This is not a bad matchup necessarily. Unfortunately, the Sableye does outpace to the 3rd Foul Play, so we have to look out for that. We are 6 Steel Wings to every Hydro Cannon or Drill Peck in this case. I'm so confident that they're going to shield that I just throw the Drill Peck. Once again, folks, that is just a strategy that I've developed is, there was a 100% chance that they were going to either catch or shield there. And sure enough, they do switch here, but this is where my habit of throwing the Drill Peck instead of the Hydro Cannon really comes to bite me in the ass. If they're going to switch, I expect them to switch into something that resists water and something that maybe even takes super effective from flying, like a grass type. But that's definitely not the case here. But that's fine, because actually what that does is that makes it so that I can potentially farm down here if I don't get debuffed. I do get debuffed, and that means that I am going to have to throw a move to take them out here, which is not great. But wait. We've been counting lock-ons here, and we know that this is just a focus blast, and we managed to take them out. That is so good for us, because we have the Shadow Ball here, right, to throw into the Sableye. If I was being silly here, I could even throw the Seed Bomb, because I'm so sure that the Sableye will shield this, but we don't want to disrespect them like that. We full send the Shadow Ball, and that takes them out. So honestly, this is looking really good for us here at this point. So we're just going to shield up here. We have a shield advantage, and that means that this is game over, because we will put them into Aqua Tail range. We will take them out with one Aqua Tail here before they reach 2 more Drill Pecks. And you can see here that they do shield the first one, and that allows us to get to the Power Whip. So honestly, they were not nearly at double moves yet. I could have just thrown an Aqua Tail and farmed them down, but no need to do that, folks. When you can reach the Frenzy, the Power Whip rather, no need to go for an Aqua Tail. Next up, this is actually a very good lead for us, because we want to see this in the lead. Neither of our Pokemon in the back want to see this, and they have Powder Snow, and that is huge. That is definitely a saving grace for us, because now suddenly one Drill Run won't take us out. Whereas if they had Shadow Claw, one Drill Run would definitely take us out. We get a shield, and now we are satisfied with letting this go, and they Ice Punch us. So the Drill Run wouldn't quite take us out, but they were expecting us to shield there, and this is fantastic. Honestly, I wasn't ever going to shield there regardless, because of the fact that I know that they outpace me to Drill Runs if they bait with a Ice Punch. And so we're in a very good spot here. We are going to safe swap into GOODRA, and then they swap into Altaria, and this game is over. So this is what I was mentioning before about swapping out of the Empoleon and into the GOODRA as a safe swap. And it's because, in this case, they come in with a Dragon, which our Steel typing on Empoleon will obviously be very good against. But in other cases, it could be something that's weak to water, like a Gligar, for example. But here, we actually want them to take us out, because we want to get that extra little bit of farm in the back with our Trevenant. And so we don't even throw a Steel Wing. I'm not sure if our Steel Wing would even go through there, but we can just come in with the Trevenant, and now we can just easily sweep this Lantern. Even if they bait us with a Surf, they would still need 2 Thunderbolts to take us out after that. So yeah, this is completely safe, because we can easily Shadow Claw them down before they reach a Surf and 2 Thunderbolts. We do shield here. It is the Surf, and so now they are not even going to get to double Surf. Yeah, and that is a good game. Next up, we have the best lead we can see. We're very grateful to see the Wigglytuff in the lead, folks. They switch immediately into Poliwrath, and we are late into the Trevenant, actually, so that's not great here. Not great to be late. We do want to switch out immediately as soon as we see the fighter, because taking 2 counters there onto Empoleon means that they will actually outpace us to the first Icy Wind. We do outpace them from here on, though. We are gonna no shield this Icy Wind, and we should still be able to Shadow Claw down at this point, because they already did take the Seed Bomb. And what that means is we should get to double Seed Bombs here. Even though we are double debuffed, 2 Seed Bombs are going to do some nice chip damage to the Wigglytuff. It should put them into farm down range. And then we are going to go into Empoleon, anticipating that they're going to switch out immediately. Right? But they don't switch out immediately. They take a long time, and that is actually really bad for them. They should have switched into Stunfisk immediately, because I got so much farm here. that I'm able to almost get to a Hydro Cannon right away versus the Stunfisk. And here, the Aqua Tail buff is going to come in real handy because you can see here the old Aqua Tail would not take out the Stunfisk in 2 charge moves. This Aqua Tail easily takes out the Stunfisk in the 2nd charge move, which is very threatening to them. So they do throw the Rock Slide. I think that we have to shield this. And then we are going to practice proper move timing through 1 Dragon Breath and then the move. And we are going to... we shouldn't have even thrown any Dragon Breaths there. That was a misplay on my part. This game was completely over, but unfortunately because of the Dragon Breaths that we threw against the Wigglytuff, we do not get to a charge move here. We should have gotten 6 Steel Wings from the Wigglytuff. So this actually got a little bit closer than it could have, because if we had gotten, if it had taken us 1 more Steel Wing to get to the Hydro Cannon there, the Stunfisk could have taken me out with a Rock Slide from that range, I'm pretty sure. So very close. And here we see an Umbreon in the lead, and this is really good because Trevenant has a very negative matchup versus Umbreon, obviously. And if you see an Umbreon in the lead, it's likely that they have something that's weak to Ghost in the back, right? The Umbreon is usually their Ghost answer. So we are going to no-shield this move, knowing that they can't take us out in 2. And this is actually a pretty positive matchup for Empoleon. I believe that after this next Hydro Cannon, we might be able to just farm down. Let's see. And it's looking like we actually could get that farm down. So they come into Jellicent, and I make a very questionable play here going into GOODRA, because ideally what I'd want to do is to go into the Trevenant immediately. The thing is that the Trevenant versus Jellicent matchup does get kind of dicey if they're able to bait with Surfs, especially if they got an energy advantage versus my Empoleon first. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually play out the 1 shields here with the GOODRA, because we can get a nice Shadow Claw farm down with the Trevenant in the back, even if they take out my GOODRA. And so we throw it horrible timing here. This is very unfortunate because they get in a full Hex. You got to be careful about timing there, folks. But they luckily let that go, and then they come with Annihilate, and this should be game over. They make things very easy for me here, actually. This is a big mistake on my opponent's part. They need to farm up to the Shadow Ball in order to be threatening there, and I'm not sure what going into the Umbreon there accomplished, really, other than giving me more farm. But yeah, if they went up to the Shadow Ball and baited and then caught the move, then they definitely would have won. And I think that that's something that a good player should be expected to do. You know, here, unfortunately, I think that we're going to get outpaced by the Poliwrath again. Again, we're just not quick enough to the swap here to outpace them to the first Icy Wind. But as we saw, we do live 1 Icy Wind. What no shielding there does is it makes it so that they can make a play for switch by double shielding here. Double shielding, getting those 2 debuffs is a play, and sure enough, they are shielding. So a little bit different than how I played. I gave up the shield first against the last Poliwrath, right? And now they are giving up the first shield against me. But this is actually a little bit better for me, as you can see, because they actually cannot flip this matchup in the 1 shield scenario. So in the past, I was forced to go down a shield versus the last Poliwrath, whereas here I do flip the matchup, and I don't give the Skarmory a whole lot of farm there. And so now we are looking very good because we have the alignment we need. We have the Empoleon into the Skarmory. Even if they Brave Bird here, that is still not going to put us into farm down range for the Skarmory. So we are going to no shield here. They're going to obviously triple debuff themselves with a Brave Bird if they throw it, which they do, and that makes it so that I could easily farm them down with GOODRA, which is why they switch into Whiscash. And you're going to see I make a pretty questionable play here. I actually go up to the Power Whip, but I bait. And so you might think, Blepnir, that's very rude, you know, like, you should just full send the power whip. But honestly, I'm okay with them no shielding here because I think that I can just farm them down with Dragon Breaths. And luckily they do shield. So the thing is, take a look at the switch timer to the side here. The switch timer is coming up. And I believe that if I had gone straight power whip, I actually wouldn't throw my second power whip before the switch timer came up. And what that would do is it would give them an opportunity to catch onto Skarmory, and I think that I would have actually lost the game if that happened. So that was a potential lose con, believe it or not, if I went for the power whip instead of the Aqua Tail there first. You do always want to farm up to the big move. I wanted to farm up to the power whip because if I just go Aqua Tail immediately, there's no way that I'm going to get my shield, right? So here we have a very positive lead. We have Empoleon into Pelipper, both dealing not very effective damage with our fast moves. But look how much more we're doing. We're doing like twice the amount that they're doing with their own fast move, which is pretty crazy considering how glassy Empoleon is. Pelipper is a little bit glassier, I think. I do believe that Pelipper wins CMP here. I need to look that up though. So what we're doing is we get up to the double Drill Peck before they reach a Hurricane and a Weather Ball. They just let that go, and we're going to safe swap into GOODRA. This is really good for us because they don't get the farm that they would get for my Empoleon. And look here, this is actually a Shadow GOODRA, which is a little bit scarier for my Trevenant. They actually shield up the Aqua Tail, which is really good for us because at this point we have a shield advantage. I think we're just going to let this go because we can reset our Icy Wind debuff. We might even try to catch the Icy Wind onto Empoleon. Let's see what we want to do. We definitely want to wait out the timer here. I'm not sure if the timer will be up by the time we come in. They actually switch. This is not the play by the opponent. This is absolutely not the play. I think that they just lose the game now because my Empoleon has so much health and they're switch locked here. They definitely had to at least throw the Icy Wind first on their Poliwrath before switching out. But we'll take it. We'll absolutely take the switch here. And they CMP tie us. This is actually very unfortunate for the opponent. They must have been trying to throw the Stone Edge right before we got to the move. But at this point, since we have 2 shields and they have 0 shields, we should have been able to farm up enough versus the Bastiodon to easily land easily land the Seed Bomb versus the Poliwrath. But once again, folks, it is a smart idea with this team to switch out of the GOODRA after you win lead, I think. And once again, the coverage of the grass and the water is what makes GOODRA really good here. The water to match the Empoleon, the grass to match the Trevenant. These are the types of things that I'm thinking about when I make teams. Really fun team to play. Thanks once again to Pogo Dylan for showing me how it's done. Link once again down below to Pogo Dylan's stream, and I'll see y'all next time.